On to the support call for today for the Genius Insight. This is Dr. Ariel Policano. I am a naturopathic doctor, and I am dedicated to teaching people about energy medicine and natural health and the nexus between energy medicine and natural health. This year, I will be hosting many more classes. Please look for them in your email box, and I will be more consistent with my newsletter. I have lots of articles and information that I want to bring to you. And we'll be having more classes focused on natural health and biofeedback. So taking up specific conditions like thyroid conditions like Hashimoto's or Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, or just how to tune up your brain, how to understand the gut microbiome, what is a ketogenic diet. All of these things that we're asking in the natural health world have an application in biofeedback, and we're going to be talking about bringing those things together. So I'm really excited to be with you, and thanks for, we start a little bit late, so thanks for being here. We have a great crowd today. All right, we have lots of questions and people who want sample scans, so we're going to go through as many as we can. Welcome, Gisela. Oh, Gisela, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome, Jeff from the East Coast, one of our dedicated and long-term users. Jeff, what a pleasure to have you here. Shireen, haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. So good to have you here. Fiona's here. Welcome. Dawn has just joined us, and we're so glad to have our new user, Dawn. Really nice to have you with us. Betty Lou will be getting you your customized panel soon. Thank you for your patience. You're so kind. Diane is here. Diane L., one of our new users, and the lovely Grace is here. Hopefully we'll get to check in with Grace and find out how she's doing. And one of our long-term users, Claire, is here. Claire, warm welcome to you. Guess it's the evening time in the UK. Hope you're doing really well. Got a bunch of great questions from Karen S., one of our new users. So Karen asks, how can I delete previous treatments from my iPad? I synced it with the cloud. How is I synced with the cloud? Is that how it's done? Not sure how to retrieve them from the cloud. Let's see, I have like some sort of faux clients in here. Let me see if I can do this. Let me just pause the view for a second. You cannot delete past treatments. You cannot delete past sessions. I don't know why you'd want to do that. There's really no limit. Hang on, you guys. Okay, here is examples of past sessions with, this is just like a sample client that we have in here. You really can't delete this, you guys, but I don't really understand why you would want to. There's no limit on your memory in terms of what you have on the cloud. And I do apologize if it's something that you want to delete, but we just don't simply have that capability. Let me just turn this off for a second again, just to get back to here. Just have a faux client here. Okay, good questions here, Karen. Where do the additional add-on programs go after I buy them? Are they integrated into the program on my Genius Insight or outside of it? If you're talking about the bonus programs you got, like the Water Harmonizer, they are separate programs. Karen, if you received special custom libraries from me, then I would have sent you instructions about how to install them. If you think I didn't send them or you can't find them, then send me an email with the custom libraries that you've received, and I will make sure that you get them and that you know how to install them, and we can always meet. Ginger's here, and she says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Ginger, and it's nice to have you here as well. One of our long-term, and we were talking people who are here who've been using the Genius for years, which is really nice. What is the purpose of the voice patterns on the lower left part of the voice imprint page? Okay, let's go to that. And Karen, I think you picked a good place to ask your questions, so thanks for joining us today. This is what I want to do next. All right, so we want to get in here. So what this voice harmonics is, it is an option Once you've recorded the voice, so let's see. Ariel Policano, A-E-I-O-U. I am so grateful for such a lovely day today and such a wonderful start to the new year. A-E-I-O-U, A-E-I-O-U, A-E-I-O-U. Okay, any of those are perfect grounds for the voice recording. Once you have the voice recording, you can play a homeopathic version of your voice back to yourself with the voice harmonics. So you tap on that button. There's no timer on the button, so you're probably just going to do a few seconds or 30 seconds if you time it. And let's see if I can turn this up. It looks like it does time it. Okay, what that's done is it's given you a perfect homeopathic feedback of your voice. So in homeopathy, like cures like. Whatever imbalances or disruptions in emotion, physical, mental, spiritual that are in your field or in your body are often expressed in the voice. And they are being fed back to you homeopathically in this signal. So the way that you can use this is a way to clear the deck with your patient, like to clear they or your client. They have come to you whether on Skype or FaceTime or in person, and they've had a busy rest of their day. This is a way to get them centered and grounded. So you can consider this to be the first part of your program, the first part of your session. So the first part of your session could be that few seconds of voice harmonics. So you simply play that piece back to them and allow them to hear it and listen to it. So it's sort of an initial dust and clean for them. And so that's what the voice harmonics are. These formats are indeed readings of the voice frequency. They don't have a lot of meaning for us. They were meant as sort of a cute little bell and whistle, something that you can look at for interest to see how different the formats are from person to person. So they do actually represent pieces of the voice clip that were picked up. This is a quantum biofeedback technology. You do not need the voice in the picture for this to work. It will work without the voice in the picture. So much is based on your intention and working in the field of subspace where no space and time exist. However, there is a very sophisticated voice recording that helps, I find, in my experience, to laser focus in on what's going on with the person. So think of the voice in the picture as a piece that adds information. And that information is helpful because we're trying to assess the person's frequency. So when you can have the voice in the picture, the most recent voice in picture, the more precise readings you receive. If you have a voice clip from yesterday, it's a little less precise. It never matters in terms of sending the frequencies because the frequency sending will always be the same. It's only a little bit different when you're doing the readings and trying to get practical, actionable information. You want the most recent and laser focused information that you can. So for example, in my live patient sessions, I like to get a live picture and a live voice when possible. This will give me the most accurate biofeedback information, which is part of my total assessment of that person. Karen, I want to compliment you. Your questions have been absolutely spectacular. Very, very good question. Let's see. I know the voice frequencies are used to determine what is going on in my body, but are there a list of frequencies at the lower left that can be played so I'm supposed to listen to them before leaving that page? Yeah, that's what we just covered. So play the voice harmonics for a few seconds and then move on to the rest of the program. Okay, Jeff says Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Shireen. And Karen's joining us from Switzerland. Oh, that's right, Karen. Oh, good, 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 good. Oh, so nice to have you more active with our community. What a pleasure. Okay. All right. Using the remedy plate, can I collect a frequency from a sample I want to use? Hey, Dale. Now, Dale is joining our community today. I think he's not made a decision about which system to get, or if you have, just let me know, Dale. We'll work on your friend Sandra here, and also I've promised Barbara that she'll get a session as well. Sounds like you were looking on Facebook for the link. Barbara, I do need to get that link on Facebook. I do apologize. So you guys, we might go a little bit long today, so fasten on your seatbelts. I think we're going to do a few sessions here. Okay, so the remedy plate is an amazing tool. One of the things I've sort of made a resolution is to do more videos, sort of camera-based videos. I've gotten a good quality camera, and I want to show people more what they can do with the remedy plate. It's funny, I just take it for granted everybody would know what to do with the remedy plate, but there's no, it's all in my brain thinking that. But the remedy plate is amazing. Yes, you could do a salivary sample, and you could scan that sample and use that as part of what you're giving feedback to. So you could turn that into a total biofeedback signal. You could use, urine, but be careful. You want to be very hygienic. I mean, saliva or a piece of hair is really just as good because it carries a lot of bioenergetic information. But a remedy plate is also great for imprinting frequencies. So imprinting frequencies from the genius into water or into another remedy. So what I hope to continue to encourage everyone to do in these classes is to be very creative. Be creative with your genius, because there's so many things that you can do. You can enter complex right frequencies. You can create complex remedies. You can charge up remedies. Imagine taking your favorite essential oil, maybe a Young Living oil, and charging it with all of the solfeggio frequencies, and then creating a dynamic new remedy from that. So there's so many, so many different things that you can do. All right, well, let's go ahead and let's see, you got to have a bunch more questions there. That's great. I know, Barbara, you've been waiting, so let me just enter Barbara's information here. And then, Barbara, we're going to try to get your voice. You may want to check to see if you're unmute yourself. You can't totally unmute yourself, but just try to find your microphone. So warm welcome to everyone, Rita, and I'll get to Rita's question in a bit. I have to turn the camera off for 1 second so you won't see the screen, just so I can enter the client's information. You can ask other questions, and I will be, try to answer them. It's going to be a big year for biofeedback and these types of technologies, you guys. The veil is really coming off, and people are really, really looking for solutions that energy medicine can provide. So it is very, very exciting, because I believe what you're going to find is that the people around you are much more receptive to energy medicine than they have been in the past. And so when you say, would you like a session? Are you interested in a session? They're going to not give you as much pushback as they used to. They're going to be much, much more inclined to be open to the experience. And so I think we're going to find a lot of people that are coming on board that probably are around you that may be interested. We do have a 20% referral program, and so I can set you up with your own link. I hope to get a group email out today where they'll contain that link. There is a difference between my website, awakentotalhealth.com, and Ryan's website. So if you wish to support me and purchase through me, then do use that website, awakentotalhealth.com. You can also just let Ryan know that you've been working with me, and we work together in partnership. So he will credit me for that particular sale. So either way, you guys, if you want my customer service and my advisement after your purchase, then purchase through me, or be sure that I'm going to get credited for the sale if you want to purchase through Ryan's website. Otherwise, you don't have me as your customer support person. All right. And okay, we'll be talking about, I think I talked to Barbara about some remedies. Sorry guys, it's still like New Year's morning after being up, late with friends ringing the new year. So thanks for being patient. Okay, so Barbara, we want to talk to you. Let's see if we can get that mic unmuted here. And if not, then we'll just skip it. But Barbara, if you can endeavor to possibly unmute your mic. Oh gosh, that's awesome. Hey Barbara, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, excellent. And Happy New Year to you, my dear.
Thank you. Same to you.
Tell us a little bit about what you're wanting to work on today.
Well, seemed like I have a lot of brain fog and a lot of stiffness in my legs, pain in my legs and my hip area. So those are the main things I want to focus on. And, I do have cataracts. I was trying to figure out what is causing the cataracts.
Did you see the cataract categories that I sent to you?
Yes, I was trying to pull those up, but I just was doing that this morning, so I didn't figure it out yet.
No, I totally understand that. Okay, let's get your voice recording. So I'll cue you up here. I'll start are you ready to do voice recording?
Yes.
Okay, I'll start recording your voice in 3, 2, 1, I'm recording.
Barbara Schneider, A-E-I-O-U, 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 flexibility and positive thinking.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to mute you now, and then I'm going to unmute you. I'll, of course, let you know as we get towards the end of the analysis, come back and do a little check-in on some of the things that I found, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, thank you for being here. Okay, now that's interesting. I don't know if it was because her voice wasn't very modulated, and it doesn't make a difference from a biofeedback perspective, but isn't this interesting that her formats were very, very close together, whereas even when I was speaking, there was a great variety. There was like a 600 hertz format, and it could just be because I, emphasize my voice when I talk, that more like that. But I'm gonna have to check in with Ryan and see why these may be variable or less variable. So there's nothing here that we can do individually, but we can do, let's do the voice harmonics for her as another example of that. Kind of interesting, pretty different from the one that I did on my voice, even though they're just sort of these, pretty straightforward tones, there's still a lot going on there. So we've sort of cleared some energy, some incoherent energy from her field just at the get-go. And if you can do some pre-clearing, that's really good because you're going to be able to go deep faster. Another really wonderful way that you can create this sort of pre-clearing environment with your client is you could have them drink some water before the treatment. That, water is very cleansing and clearing. They don't have to drink a gallon of it, but just a little bit of water, or a nice water, good water that you have available for them. Also, the water harmonizer. If you have them in person or even on the screen, oh, I haven't updated this thing since we had our little meltdown. That's disappointing. But if you guys know what the water harmonizer is, if you play the water harmonizer before the session, then it's really, really helpful. Okay. So let's get into this case. All right, let's turn this down. So she talked about brain fog. She talked about pains in the legs. So let me just go over the basics again. We are going to skip the picture here. The basics, we start at system overview, and we're going to be thinking about some key pieces. So you guys, what would you recommend in the system overview? What would be good categories to check? Now, we always are going to include emotions, and we're always going to include Bach flower essences. So we're always going to include those. Do you have any suggestions of what you think would be good to test in the main part of the program? You want to sort of have that in mind. Also remember that this is the pre-testing part of your program. I can't emphasize this enough, you guys. This is a gathering area where we're getting general impressions, but we don't really make our more certain decisions about what really is going on in terms of priorities and real linchpins, real root cause, until we get into progressive insights. This is where the greater probability algorithms are located. So take everything here with a grain of salt. We're getting a general information. All right, so Fiona says sacred geometry. Do you have any other suggestions? You guys, sacred geometry is a good one. We'll talk about that. Let's do a pre-test on the aura. So let's do this one first. And let's just do, so this is the cold aura. All we've done is a little dust and clean with the voice harmonics. And let's see what comes up here. Okay, so interesting. Now, I know, to tell you a little bit about Barbara, she does have the genius and she runs her frequencies regularly. And she took my biofeedback practitioner program, and she's really been working on her family and working on herself. So I believe we see that reflected in here, whereas we can often see more of a gray tone when we're starting off, and we see a little bit of gray over here. Now, gray often represents some physical discord, so some type of illness or just not feeling as well as they could be. Not sure what's going on here, but this could be some energy that she's trying to integrate. And then what's going on here? Again, this could be a sign of physical imbalance. And so we'd want to see this probably clear out here. And of course, we definitely want to see this clear up here. And we want sort of any muted tones or grays that sort of look like density to begin to clear from the aura. Now, you guys, I haven't updated because I am very snail when it comes to updates. I usually just see if there's anything wrong with the update before I do so. But those of you who have been more on top of things and have updated your version of your Genius will find that there has been an email function added to this. So there is now an email function where you can email this to yourself or the client. Let's go back for a moment. And what I really like to start off with is I like to start off with today's stress. So today's stress is here, and it is blue, so there's definitely some stuff there. I don't take the system overview colors of red or blue as make or break whether I'm going to run a panel. If I want to run a panel, I will run a panel because I want to, because I find it interesting. Okay, remember, you guys, even if you don't know anything about health, you want to always be asking the question, I wonder why. I wonder why this is coming up. And how do the things that are coming up, how do they fit together? So first of all, cardiovascular at 756. She didn't say that she has anything going on with her heart, but I know that Barbara has been concerned about family members. So is this a more of a deeper heart issue where she's really concerned and worried about someone, and that's got her heart, right? That's energetic heart. Or It could be a physical heart issue, especially if you see blood sugar. You know, blood sugar imbalances and heart issues can go hand in hand. Now, this is only 662, you guys. I still get my 662s into my main hold tray and anything basically above 600, but a 756 is a stronger indication that it is likely some type of a physical imbalance. Degeneration often means that there's an active physical pathology or physical issue going on. So it's just a guiding that, you know, something that the person's working on. We go down to the bottom now, and we go from the bottom up, and we look at numbers primarily below 100, but we can also go all the way up to 200. Remember, this is a place where there's no downside to choosing more frequencies than less. And I do sessions where I go up to 100 frequencies in my main hold tray because I want to get the juiciest overview so that when I go into progressive insights, I have a lot of information, and out of all of that information, I'm going to get the top priorities, which means the greater the number, the more confidence I have that it's been sifting through that information and still finding just a few frequencies very, very important. And I'll show you that as we get there. So let's include acidity, the virus, sensitivities, and of course, connective tissue. I think I dropped it. No, I didn't. Okay, so connective tissue, well, she's got the pain in her leg. So perhaps there's toxicity in the connective tissue or something else affecting the connective tissue. So we've got that in there. Then we've got other ones. Let's see what you guys, if you guys had anything else that you wanted to contribute here. I think I would look at the nervous system with Barbara. That's a really good one. We can do our nerve assessment and also the vessel program. So let's look at a couple of those in a moment, but some interesting things here, electrical sensitivities. Let's see what that's about. Fluorescent lights is coming up. Some computer monitors, that's interesting. We've also got some organs here. So I'm just going to look at some of the reds and the blues until I get a better flavor for what's going on here. Kidneys, we don't have anything in red, but she does balancing on herself every day. Eyes, so there are the cataracts that she talked about. Bladder, okay. So we're just sort of taking all of this in and considering. Spinal energy, because that was in blue. Let's just see what's in there. Thoracic 7. So that is in the mid back, and that may have something to do with the legs. We don't know for sure. And we've got L3, L5, got some lower back stuff. That definitely could be related to the legs, depending on, there's different questions to ask. It's hard to know at this point, is the leg stuff due to a compressed nerve? It sounds more like it's bilateral. It sounds more systemic than maybe related to nerve compression, but I'm not sure yet. So we'll add in all of those. Then let's see, she's got the legs. She also has talked about her thyroid. Let's go ahead and add in all the libraries. So I'm going to be doing that by going here, selecting all of them, adding them to her profile, going back here, going to libraries, and let's look at some overview things. This is going to switch in a moment here. All right, so there's a lot of things in here. I haven't really been very specific. Let's look at the vessel assessment, the major arteries for a moment, because cardiovascular did come up for her. So the dorsal pedis artery, that's in the leg. This is around the shoulder. The abdominal aorta, that's in the central part of the body. The internal iliac, the internal carotid, the common iliac artery, the celiac artery. It's really interesting, you know, lots of stuff around the neck. I see this really consistently with this vessel harmonizing program. And this is where we can get plaquing. I'm not sure what happens there. Maybe it's because of over time, the lack of movement and motion in that area, if you're not a huge walker, runner, exerciser, there's a lot that sort of gets stagnated if you don't do yoga regularly in that neck and shoulder area, and that may be part of the issue. All right, so let's look at the system inquiry. Sort of gives us another overview. System inquiry core source issue. What is the core source that's going on? Oh, I never would have said chemtrails. Chemtrails, dust exposure, a dental issue, parasites, a virus, pet allergy, food sensitivity. And let's see. Systems inquiry, this goes through the different systems. This is a custom library set that you can get. Interesting, there's definitely a dental aspect to this. Bladder, urinary system, metabolic blood sugar. This is sort of my own version of today's stress, and I just wanted confirmation. Digestion, adrenals, neurotransmitter. She's got that brain fog. Well, you know, I think I would want to ask Barbara, are you able to get consistent movement? Like, are you out, are you able to walk for 60 minutes a day? What kind of exercise do you do? I think that would be important. And I would also ask maybe for not a ketogenic diet, but like a modified keto where we're going lower on the carbs. And that doesn't mean eating lots of fat and meat or paleo. But definitely less on the carbs. I'm getting the feeling that that needs to be looked at, as well as maybe if there's some digestive sensitivities. And then adrenals, this is probably the main reason we're having the brain fog. So let's include all of this and let's go to brain assessment. And that it does get an 11, and let's see what's going on here. So these are things that are causing stress to the brain. So emotional stress is a 777, you guys. 777 is the highest you can go in the system. Phenylethylamine is a feel-good hormone in chocolate, so I guess you need some more chocolate, or maybe just sugar-free cocoa. Brain-derived neurotrophic factor, you know, that is increased through bursts of exercise, high-intensity exercise. Also, ginkgo biloba can help with BDNF. And then low ENOS. So yeah, I think actually whatever you can do to get the body moving, Barbara, is going to be really instrumental, as well as sort of shoring up your digestion. So we might be looking at a grain-free program for a little while, taking out some of the most common allergens, and looking at a high vegetable, moderate fruit, lots of nuts and seeds, salads, really taking out anything that is processed from the diet. I think that could actually go a really long way. Peroxynitrite, what these are all pointing to is not enough oxygen to the brain. So again, cleaning up the cardiovascular system, getting the food piece upgraded, and getting even 30 minutes of walking outside a day to begin with, I think will be incredibly important. That would help the serotonin. All right, so let's see if there's anything else. We've got some brain solutions. Let's look at that. Then we want to look at the emotions and the flower essences. So again, emotional stress. You guys, when you're looking at these, I want you to keep asking, what is the program saying to you? What are the patterns? Why is this coming up? If you do that, I promise you, you don't need one whit of natural health training, but you do need a natural curiosity. If you are naturally curious, you will get a lot of information. So there's that digestion again. I'm actually sort of walking away from the picture feeling like there are three main pieces here, but there's not necessarily a frank pathology. There might be sort of on the way to a pathology, where if we just tune up the digestive system and get that digestive piece right, if we help the emotions, because there's a lot of emotional stress and strain, and then we get the movement piece in, I think we'll actually clear up an awful lot. And these are more permanent lifestyle changes that can really be helpful for longevity over the long term. We see inflammation at 611. It means there isn't crazy inflammation going on. So let's go to emotions. We know emotions are a huge issue right now for whatever reason. You know, and there's 703. You see that reflected in at least 3 different places we looked in the program, you guys. If you think that can be attributed to random chance, that's ridiculous. So I love that consistency that you can see in the program. And so you often see those echoes in different panels that you're running. So I often let the client look over my shoulder and I just say, hey, we all have emotions. We all have things that we're trying to deal with. And so some of these may ring true to you. When you see ecstasy, it means that they're trying to get to that positive emotion, that somehow it's out of balance for them. Maybe they don't have enough of that sort of free, you know, ecstatic, fun feeling in their life. Now, I go with these, even though I'm going in the green, I will sometimes go all the way up to 200. And we're complex emotional beings. Every single one of these emotions actually could apply to that person. You guys, we're going to go a little long today, so if you need to pop off at the top of the hour, I totally understand that. We did start late because I just could not pull it together this morning because of the New Year's holiday. It was, you know, times with friends, getting to bed a little bit late. So thanks for tuning in today. I appreciate you just going with the flow. Definitely get your flower essences. We're going to do a class for sure on flower essences and biofeedback because I can't emphasize to you how spot on Bach was. These are not just random flowers that Bach decided to dip in water, fill them up in a bottle, and shovel them off to humanity. These are very, very specific frequencies that unlock these wounds, that help to clear out these really serious places of woundedness. If you don't deal with your emotions, then you're not going to get better. But there are easy ways and there are hard ways. Now, definitely talking about your emotions, pretty good. Journaling about your emotions, pretty good. Talking to someone about the emotions, those are all very profound and helpful. But also just using the flower essences, because they are frequencies that will help to release these emotional blocks within you. Very, very simple, very, very path of least resistance. With 87 items in the tray, it's now time to go to Progressive Insights to sort of spin everything down and get a sense of what is going on. What is ultimately causing the physical issue that we're dealing with? And that's what we're looking at here. Okay, give me 1 second here. And so right at the top, we see walnut, the flower essence. I need to get to bed earlier. Okay, so walnut being the flower essence that we're looking at. And walnut, the flower essence meaning from Bach is protection from change and unwanted influences. So interesting. So something she's trying to protect herself from, dealing with change. There's an element of guilt. You guys, the reason that we look at these and share them with the client is because there's a very strong significance. When you've gone through all the testing in the main part of the program, and then you've selected very key ones to include down in your main hold tray, up to between 30 and 100 items, when you go into Progressive Insights and you drill everything down, you can bet your bottom dollar that these things have strong significance in the physical issue that the person is trying to deal with. So I don't recommend looking at these and going, oh, guilt, I mean, I can't take that as a supplement. Like, what is that about? These are very significant in the physical manifestation of what the person is going through. Now, there are a lot of flower essences coming up here, which usually means she's very, very receptive to those energies. So holly is about being jealous or envious. And you guys try to be as kind as possible. Red chestnut is, I think that's the healer's flower essence, you guys. If you're with me every week, you will know the number of times that red chestnut comes up is really out of balance for our population, because it is the over concern for loved ones, over concern for the welfare of loved ones. And it comes up again and again for this healer population. Okay, we see all of the arteries. I would say, Barbara, that maybe some nattokinase or some hawthorn berry may be very important here. Because we're seeing so much of the artery stuff come up high. So I do think there is some type of a vessel issue. May not be pathological, okay? Maybe only energetic. May not have any real, pose any danger to your health, okay? Remember, when we're talking about energy, it's really important to share with people, these are things in the energy field. These are potentialities. They may be physical realities, or they may be physical realities in the future. They may never be physical manifestations. So we want to be very careful when disclosing and sharing information. One of the things that came through the Facebook group the other day was about somebody seeing an indication of a tumor and sharing that with the person that they were testing. You guys, if you've ever noticed on my own custom libraries, I don't have any cancer, the name of cancer or tumor or any designation on any of the libraries that I've created, because I don't want to contribute to a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, one of the most important things I want to explain in 2018 is your words change your DNA. Your words change your DNA. And this is exactly why this biofeedback program can be so powerful, because you can program your own words into this. And also it's like a reflection. As you're seeing this information, you're saying to yourself, I have the power to change my health. I have the power to change my DNA. And even that in and of itself is powerful. So there's a really strong connection between the reality of being able to heal yourself, being able to heal yourself through the word, and then the connection to the genius. This program can really facilitate that process. Okay, so getting back to here, we ran this for like a minute. So let's now go back to the aura and see if there's any change in the aura. You guys, even though I always say we only balanced for a minute, every time you test someone, every scan is clearing something from their field. So a lot of testing can sometimes deplete a person. Just be aware that even in the testing, you're doing clearing, and bringing things to their awareness is also helping them to clear. So after 1 minute, this is sort of everything is in process, right? Bringing in a lot of the green healing energy. And I would suggest that these are things that the field is trying to clear. So what I think is that these are active issues that are now in the process of being cleared, that there's a lot going on. This is sort of the work in process. I think from here, we're going to see more purples and blues. And you see this gray. It may not come in so good over the webinar, but there's more gray over here. So we want to see this continue to clear out. So I'd say this is a really good intermediate point. This is really shows good beginnings. Now, sorry, I wanted to go back to here. I did want to just get a final check-in with this cataract thing. We do have a cataract assessment and cataract treatment. Cataracts is something that we're seeing more and more of just in the Western world and in the United States. And I suspect it's from being indoors. I suspect it's from looking at computer monitors. I suspect it's from not getting enough antioxidants into the body. There's a lot going on with cataracts, but I do, probably like every third or fourth person I visit with says that, hey, I've, got cataracts or know someone with cataracts. So forgiveness of self, this is, a story that was told to me. Drunvalo, Melchizedek's wife, told it in one of the classes I took in Sedona. It was kind of an unbelievable story about a woman who was just past the level of being legally blind. She pretty much couldn't see anything. They met her at this restaurant. They had this talk with her, and the wife, Drunvalo's wife, who's like a shaman, was able to take her back, like through hypnosis, a mild hypnosis, to a place where she had this incident of this person she couldn't forgive. She was able to do the forgiveness of the incident, of the trauma, what was done to her. And in that moment, her vision, like, cleared up to the point where it had improved significantly. She was no longer legally blind. She couldn't see perfectly, but there was a significant shift in her vision. And so I just thought that was interesting, that there's, forgiving oneself or forgiveness of other could be related somehow to sight. So that's an interesting synchronicity that we see the same thing here. Not able to see the future with joy. These aren't my words. I'm not sitting here going, gee, Barbara, I think your cataracts could be not being able to see the future with joy. This is the program saying it to us. Loss of estrogen, unfortunately, you guys, I don't, know. I think yoga and Tai Chi, you guys, is the ultimate solution to this. When postmenopausally we have a significant loss of estrogen, it does lead to a whole host of conditions. If you just Google loss of estrogen postmenopausal, it's sort of everything from wrinkles to, itchy skin to insomnia. Just the list just goes on and on. This is sort of better for a longer discussion about hormones. So we'll have a hormonal class coming up in the new year. Cannot look at something, oxygen deficiency. This is the movement. Colon cleansing, exposure to blue light, the need for glutathione, let's include that in there. So this is just, why does the person have genetic cause? Saccadic movements, I'm going to have to go back and look this up, but I think this has something to do with the side-to-side movements, but I can't remember if it means that we're not doing enough side-to-side movements, which happens when we're when we're looking at the computer screen a lot, or at our stupid iPhone or whatever, tablet, just like we're looking at now. But hopefully you don't do this, all day long. This is obviously a time that you're taking to heal yourself or heal someone else. But the solution to that is balance. One of the years and years and years ago, my vision was just getting worse and worse, and every year, and I had started naturopathic school. I was referred to a vision correction optometrist, and the one most valuable thing that he told me to do was to get outside more and go hiking. So I had that I was looking more far in the distance. So everything that we're doing today is near, near, near. And so we never force the eyes and the brain to do this accommodation that we need to do in looking at distance. So looking 2 feet in front of you, then looking 20 feet in front of you, and looking 200 or 2,000, or the most that you can see in front of you, helps to exercise the eyes. And we just simply don't do enough of this. So getting outside, going particularly in a hike or some type of terrain where you have to look out into the distance. So pretty much being out somewhere in nature. Radiation exposure is something I've really suspected. This is probably the computer monitor or Wi-Fi. So hopefully you don't have any microwave in your home. Cataracts early development, that's good news. Oxidative damage, so glutathione might be helpful. The optic chiasm, sleep imbalance, calcium deposit cause. This is a good one to look at, calcium deposit cause. So look at the different things that help with calcium deposits. If you guys know, David Wolf did a big thing. That was one of the biggest things he was talking about sort of 10 years ago, about MSM and fulvic acid. These things would help to clear the calcium deposits. He talked about the nanobacteria clearing these calcium deposits, because Calcification is sort of the buildup of metabolic waste in the body. For example, gallstones, kidney stones, plaquing of the arteries. Do you see how these are all similar? And they all have a calcium aspect to them. Why does this calcium build up in the body? It's due to poor digestion and eating the wrong foods. It could be due to overeating. But one of the things that is ridiculous, and it would give me great pleasure if all the people on here today did this in together at the same time, is the most ridiculous thing is taking calcium supplements, you guys. And there are at least 2 articles, 2 studies that were published in the British Medical Journal that are really excellent, that show that taking calcium supplements increases your risk for heart disease much more than it helps you to build strong bones. Tremendously important information. So if you're taking any type of calcium in any form supplementally, please toss it today. That'd be like the best New Year's thing you can do. I've also suspected UV damage as part of the picture. Let's see what solutions come up here, and then we'll finish the case up. Okay, glutathione. There's that glutathione. You see the echoes that you get? So glutathione is that master antioxidant. You can get it in garlic and sulfur-based supplements. You can get it in like liposomal glutathione is one that I use, one called Redizorb. Redizorb is a very good one. It tastes disgusting. You know, DHA, this is known to be very good for the eyes. You guys, when you see a 0, this is the highest level of compression reading that you can get for a person, the most compressed energy. This means that DHA, which I would personally suggest be like a microalgae version, is incredibly important. Barbara, I would dive into the information online about DHA and the eyes. I would settle on a microalgae version, but look at that. That means there's an incredibly strong resonance, you guys, between the person you're testing and the particular item. That means that DHA probably holds a huge amount. I wouldn't be surprised if between the DHA and the glutathione, if there was not a tremendous breakthrough with the cataracts and preventing them from progressing. Movement and inverted postures. It's another one we really didn't talk about. But you guys, just think about the effect of gravity your entire life. Okay, that's why people get jowls, and that's why they get prolapse. We have to have some counter against gravity. You have to spend part of the day inverted, either on a slant board or a slant cushion or in child's pose. It's really important because the whole time, gravity is having like this micro effect on you, but over time it has a massive visual effect that you can see on the person, because gravity is just literally pulling you down. Talk about somebody bringing you down, is pulling you down your whole life. You need to have a counter to gravity. Vitamin B complex, vitamin C, turmeric. I think you told me you were taking turmeric, so that's a really good thing. Pyruvate, liver cleanse is sort of, either or. It's like, on the borderline. So then let's go back to Progressive Insights. We rescan everything. I love this part because we're able to get even to a deeper level. Colon cleansing. Out of over 100 items, colon cleansing comes up. We talked about the connection with the digestion. So Barbara, colon cleansing is on your agenda. Go get a couple of colonics for the new year. Vitamin C. If you look at the different, I don't think our dear Karen from Canada is on today. It's quite cold in Canada today. Yeah, you can look at the reflex point for the vision within the colon. Not being able to see the future with joy, hormonal issues, neurotransmitter issues, cannot look at something, degeneration, honeysuckle. So let's see what we've got here. Honeysuckle is living in the past, Post-traumatic stress disorder, the blue light exposure. I think at night it would be good to get the orange glasses that block the blue light. Wonder, so she wants to be more in that state of wonder. Then gorse, hopelessness and despair. So you guys, more than any of the physical issues, right? We got emotions and flower essences. But you guys, this isn't random. What this means is that these things will have more impact. We're trying to negotiate all the physical issues, and spirit is sort of saying, deal with the emotions and the physical issues will resolve themselves. We know that when we test people, like if we muscle test someone for how much of a supplement they might need 4 capsules. And after we do an emotional clearing, they might need 1 capsule of the remedy. So this emotional piece is incredibly important. I do think more movement, exercise, things like that, Barbara, is going to be really helpful because it'll help you to move some of this energy around the emotions. I think however you can do that, whether it's dance, yoga, tai chi, maybe some type of a artistic outlet that you enjoy, that you need to move some of this energy out from your being, and that will help with some of the pain and physical issues that you're dealing with. So we're going to go to Barbara to get her feedback in a moment. Let's go to one other look at the aura here and see what's there. What I do when I come in here, you might go into this and you might say, well, hey, there's no begin analysis here. So what you do is you just tap here for like a millisecond. After you do that, it will bring up the begin analysis here. So we tap begin analysis. Let's see how this aura has shifted. Even as we're talking about her and doing all this analysis, there's a lot clearing from her field just in her raised level of awareness. Okay, so this is really good, you guys. So we've gotten rid of those 2 pieces that were over here. We're bringing in these higher energies and we're clearing out a lot of the gray that was over here. Now there's still some here and still some here. Well, we only did exactly 2 1-minute sessions. So that's to be expected, but it's looking much, much better. I don't think I took pictures of all of them. Let's see, my brain. Hopefully we'll be back, bring my brain back next week. So that's so weird. I don't know why this is recording it. I don't know what I hit here by accident. Okay, so let's see if we can, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to pictures. Let's see if we have it. So, oh my goodness. All right, so there's the first one. I took it twice. There's the second one with, you can see more of the gray here. And then here's the third one. So this is shaping up rather nicely. Good work. I mean, you know, kudos to Barbara. She's allowing that energy to really take flight and to be effective. So you see, I haven't updated yet. Okay, so let's talk to Barbara here. Barbara, if you want to, okay, there you go. Okay, hey Barbara, so what's your feedback on what we discovered?
Well, the exercise is one of the problems. Because there was a lot of pain involved, it was hard to do. And I did try to exercise yesterday by dancing, and then I couldn't even get out of bed this morning because of the pain.
Mm-hmm.
But as I move more, the pain goes away. So, and I think that caused a lot of the stress, that came up, a lot of the stress because of the pain.
Mm-hmm.
And the joy in my life is having this for almost 15 years, and it just seems like it's getting worse. And I sometimes feel that I'm not going to have any relief because I try to eat healthy. You know, the main thing is the exercise. I am slacking on that.
Is there anything that you can do? Is there anything that has you more stationary that you feel that you can do?
Well, I mean, I know the more I move, getting over the first 10 minutes of the pain, it gets better. So I just have to get over the first 10 minutes and then it gets better. Then, like when you do exercise the next day, sometimes you're sore, and I do have that feeling usually the next day. But I know the more I do this, that it's going to get better. And I just got to make myself do this and know that eventually this pain is going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
The glutathione, I think for 3 months I was taking it, and then I quit taking it. So I guess I need to get back onto that.
Mm-hmm.
let's see, the MSM, I just
You
bought
know,
some.
the glutathione, I'm going to have to cut you off here because we need to move on. But Barbara, the glutathione, if you have any questions, just go ahead and email me. I was trying to think, I was trying to see if magnesium would be like a #1 thing for you to get that pain down. But I kind of see magnesium is in the middle. I assume that means you probably take it daily. So the glutathione, get back on the glutathione because there's probably 1 or 2 things. How much water do you drink?
Well, that's all I drink is water.
How
But
much do you drink each day?
so maybe a half a gallon. I know I need that, especially in the wintertime, up that more.
What kind of water do you drink?
I have a water generator, so I have, it filters it, so it is filtered water. And then I've been putting the shungite stone in there. It's supposed to help also purify it.
Okay, so it's not a distiller.
No, I do have one.
No,
Should
no,
I?
I don't want you to have distilled water. Okay, I got to run, but um, here's the thing. Just make sure you double the amount of water that you're having, but make sure it's in between meals. Get a good email me so we can talk about maybe a fulvic acid for you. Iodine came up big for you, which I think is that thyroid. Iodine, selenium came up. I think that's going to help your thyroid and any thyroid antibodies. But let me run for now because we spent a lot of time on your case, and then send me questions. I hope this was helpful in some way.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect, Barbara. And thank you so much for volunteering. I really, really appreciate it. I want to go through one more, at least one more case. And Elfie, if you're still up for it, do you want to, Elfie, send me a message in the chat if you still want to be worked on. I'm going to read through some of these comments in the meantime. We're just going to sort of do marathon session. If you need to head out to your New Year's things that you want to do, then go for it. Before the end of the day, I am going to show you again, how to do customized categories. And I do think that doing customized categories is a great way to work on your resolutions because you can program those and then run those frequencies. It's also a great way to pick some affirmations for yourself today and then put the affirmations in there and work on those daily. So Elfie, okay, great. Okay, now Elfie, I think you sent your information. Let's just read through these. Elfie, go ahead, you know what, make my life easier and go ahead and send me your information in the chat again because it's got a lot of chat stuff here. So send it to me again, make my life easier. So Barbara had said on, Patricia said on the last one, can you check the fascia? How would you check the fascia? Because we don't have, where would you check the fascia, Patricia? Let me know. Meridians, says Dawn, that's a good one. Are cataracts in both eyes? Could be from dental, check for a virus, good one. The Ninja Red, I think, you know, the funny thing is, Kelly, we're all such a big happy family here, is that that is exactly what I said to Barbara when I was on the phone with her the other day, just about getting an antioxidant drink. I don't feel as much connection. I know this is blasphemy with the Ninja Red, but a lot of people do get really, really great benefit from it. It is high quality. Anything from Young Living is. So you guys, Ninja Red, but it hasn't helped Barbara in this case. The vibration machine, I was really thinking recently about getting another, but I thought, Pat, I thought you were opposed to the vibration machine, maybe only the one you prefer a single motor. I think that's what it is. Any thoughts about network spinal analysis for Barbara? That could be another good one. In like network chiropractic, is that what it is? I have been able to control pain by drinking more water and getting my body more alkaline. The more acid I am, the worse pain I have. Pain is usually lactic acid buildup. Thanks, Karen. That's awesome. Phi Sciences, crystal energy is amazing for water and creates amazing energy. You know, I like the Phi Sciences. I think that's the Patrick Flanagan stuff. Again, another one that I personally haven't had that much great luck with, but I just didn't notice it at the time. Any of his products made a difference. But again, Phi Sciences crystal energy in the water. That's an option for you guys to look into. I sort of have a neutral opinion about it, okay? So I want to welcome Elfie to the Genius community and really thank you. So Elfie has sent me a referral. Thank you so much. That really, really helps. And Elfie has been like an enthusiastic user. She's participated in the Facebook group. And so Elfie, thank you so, so much for being a part of the community. Let's get your information in here. So in order to do that, I need to turn off the camera for a second and get her entered in here. So let me just talk in the meantime. Good ideas, you guys. Thank you so much for all of your ideas. Everybody in here is a wealth of knowledge. You know, we have a lot of people who are interested in the Genius are really health enthusiasts, like really, really interested in the solution. And the solution is both energetic and physical. We're still energetic and physical people. Probably there's stuff that could be, you know, purely physical, but the energetic is important too. So, all right, let me just get this information in here. All right, almost done here, you guys. And all right, perfect. So we'll just go in here. I don't know, Elfie, if we can get your, turn this on, get your audio, but we'll do a good job of trying, yeah, we'll do a job of trying here. Oh, Elfie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm on the phone.
Oh, God, well, gosh, how nice to talk to you.
Yes, same.
If you're on the phone, how do you join visual, like by your iPad or something?
I used the computer, and then I used the cell phone.
Okay, fantastic. I love it. Okay. So, Elfie, what's going on and what would you like us to work on? Oh, you said Hashimoto's. What else?
Yes, and it's the autoimmune, and I have very high antibodies and the
Mm-hmm.
TSH,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I get achy, but I took the medication on my
Mm-hmm.
thyroid, but it gave me chest pain, so I'm not taking any of that. And I
Mm-hmm.
just switched the diet to gluten-free, soy-free, wheat, and dairy. But I did eat cheese, but I'll have to cut that out, I think, also.
So after you made the dietary changes, did the antibodies stay high?
They did. I think the one dropped a little bit. It's 0.07. I think, no, let's see. 4, it says. I think it's the thyroglobulin. And
Uh-huh.
but the other one, it never changed. I guess it's 900.
What is that? Is that the
But
thyroid? Is that peroxidase antibodies or what is that?
yes, the peroxidase antibodies.
Mm-hmm. And do you know what your
And
TSH is?
yes, it was, I think, 13.99.
Oh, that's pretty high for a TSH. My goodness. Did you have some of the thyroid symptoms like dry skin, fatigue, weight gain, any of that?
I did, but it's sort of gone. And I
Mm-hmm.
also took this Digesta-Cure Autoimmune X. I've been taking it for almost a year, hoping
Mm-hmm.
that might help with the antibodies.
Okay, I understand. And have you been taking any like selenium or iodine? They might be in that particular formula.
Yes, I take some selenium, but before it all started, I took the iodine, but it was a very high dose, and they said not to take any iodine. But
Yeah, you have to be careful. It's potato, potato. I mean, there's sort of a controversy about that. What they think with autoimmune is that iodine increases the amount of thyroid peroxidase. Therefore, if you have an autoimmune condition, it will ramp up the autoimmune reaction. On the flip side, people who are iodine advocates feel that the whole Hashimoto's itself was caused by an iodine deficiency. What I've tried to do to reconcile that is recommend small amounts of sea vegetables, like small amounts of kelp. Have you tried that?
not so much, but I think I have in the multivitamin, the liquid. I take the
Mm-hmm.
Aniva, and so there is some iodine in that. But
Mm.
I suppose I could do the sea vegetables.
Okay, well, let's get your voice recording and then we'll come back and talk afterwards. So let me have you go ahead. Are you ready to say your name and the AEIOU?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll cue you. I'll be recording in 3, 2, 1. I am recording.
Elfie Grody, AEIOU, 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 AEIOU.
Okay. And have you been having some success or good experience with using the Genius?
I think so, yes. My aura seems to have cleared up a little bit. And I like it because it pinpoints, what the sensitivities are and the vitamins. And yeah, I really like it.
That's excellent. Okay. Well, Elfie, it's a pleasure to have you on and a pleasure to have you as part of our community. I'll come back to you in a little bit after we do some searching, okay?
Okay, great.
All right. Thank you. Okay, good. And so you guys, if you have ideas and anything, I'll look at your comments in just a second. That meridians really has caught my attention, so let's just go ahead and get that one. Bladder, pericardium, gallbladder. There's a lot of information on meridians in my reference guide, which is the Mastery Guide. The Mastery Guide is not a manual so much as it is a reference guide for you to go to, because people often say to me, well, how do I know what all the screens mean? So I went through all the screens and I created the reference guide in the Mastery Guide for you to look those up and see them. Let's go ahead and just look at that aura. I guess I don't usually look at it right in the beginning, so that's probably a good practice to do. So let's just go ahead and look at that aura and see what we see here. So thyroid conditions are something that, as naturopaths, is like one of our specialties. We know a lot about it. We study it a lot. So there's a lot to cover. Okay, so good. This is a good start. We see the green over here. Remember, energy's coming in here. It's being pushed out here, but there's a lot of green over here. There's a lot of good sort of rose color under here. What I'm not so sure about is this. So there's a lot of gray over here, right? So this is what we want to see clear up. And then overall, we'd like to see sort of a lighter, brighter, not so much of a density. So let's take a picture of that. And then go into our typical testing, which is where we can do today's stress. Let's see what today's stress gives us an overall impression. So an environmental influence, so that definitely could affect the autoimmunity. An underlying infection, sort of a slam dunk for autoimmunity. Adrenal stuff sort of goes hand in hand with thyroid stuff. Bacteria, possible cardiovascular involvement, heavy metal toxicity, maybe, virus, maybe, inflammation, probably, there is inflammation. Okay, let's add the libraries and go ahead and add them here. And let's go into the libraries. We want to look at that system inquiry, see if we get any information. Then we want to look at the thyroid stuff. So let's just see. It takes a second there. I know why is feline assessment coming up. It's pretty funny, but the only reason it comes up is I just throw everything into the pot. So it's going to give some kind of oddball things are going to come up. That doesn't mean really we're going to look at them. You guys, be reasonable in your assessment of biofeedback. I mean, if something comes up that doesn't make sense, don't stress your brain like, why is this coming up? Why is this coming up? I don't understand why it's coming up. Just toss it out if it doesn't make sense. Metabolic, so blood sugar. Poor nutrition doesn't mean she eats poorly. It probably means she's not digesting her food as well as she could be. Some hormonal stuff. We know that she's postmenopausal. We always say ranges of age, or sort of we don't really say like this person is exactly. We want to always sort of retain anonymity to some degree. That's why we hide the last name and the exact birth date. If this isn't really technically a patient intake, this is just an example. Don't take this as medical advice. This is just an example that we're doing. If you find something that's helpful, then that's good. Interesting about the lungs, isn't it? And if you have further questions about what I do in the analysis, then you can email me and I'd be happy to talk to you about it. So brain, pancreas. If you listen to William Wong, if you go and you look maybe on YouTube or online, William Wong, he was the W-O-N-G, he was the original researcher who came up with Wob enzyme, which is one of the systemic enzymes. And even if you don't use Wob enzyme, because there are some problems with it, I think, its formulation, he has such a good download on the understanding of systemic enzymes. He even talks about it in terms of, and I'm looking here at the pancreas being a little bit out of balance. Probably everyone after the age of 40 really needs systemic enzymes on a regular basis. That's where I'm going with this. He even talks about like the hormonal imbalances, that these imbalances where the estrogen is dominant, the progesterone is deficient, can be made so much better through the consumption of systemic enzymes because it helps the functioning of all of those pieces that we just sort of lose as we age. So he has a really, really good download intake. I'm just trying to get some basic understanding. When we're inquiring about someone, we're trying to get like a root cause often, and we're also trying to find out what would benefit them the most. I really could make these, I want to improve these panels, but daily stretching, drinking purified water, purifying the air. Yes, I just ordered another IQ Air for my home, and my home isn't that large. The IQ Air, you know, I don't sell them, I don't represent them, but it is so good. My house, and it's funny because this is when we were talking about grace. It really inspired me to take action on. I was trying to figure out what to do at year end and so forth. But just look at the IQ Air online and just determine if it's right for you. You could also do the Austin Air, which is at a lower price point. But if you go to a naturopathic doctor around the country, you're going to find that IQ Air in most of their offices because it's going to break down the solvents in the air. It's going to help with the Plus, their HealthMate Plus is going to even break down the mold spores. And it's going to get it down to like 0.002 microns in your home. Incredibly important. You guys, the two top things, just think about what you need to survive. You guys know, you've heard that in different, pitches, right? But just think about it, right? When you go through, okay, what do I need to stay healthy? Is it really your vitamin C supplement, or is it that you need healthy air and you need healthy water? I mean, if you cover those two things and you make sure you breathe well and you drink enough water, that's probably going to take care of 80% of, the stuff. And, on top of that, make sure that you are, good movement. Exercise is necessary for everyone from 0 to 100. You guys, you cannot get out of exercise by, I don't feel well enough to exercise. You have to find out what you can do. The moment you're not exercising is you're building up gunk in the lymphatics, you're decompensating your cardiovascular system. It's really, really important. Sleep time earlier, water, purify the bathing water. This whole purpose of this particular custom library was to get to some of the basics, because I don't know if you realize this, but in medicine, we get sort of, is it tunnel vision or can't see the forest for the trees? We're in there sort of dialing in the amount of iodine someone should be taking, and yet they're still microwaving their food or going to McDonald's or whatever it is. We kind of miss the obvious. So this custom library was meant to not miss the obvious. Okay, what I really wanted to get to in here is thyroid assessment. So I know we're going long today, you guys. If you need to hop off the call, don't worry about it. I just figure people are home enjoying their holiday, so you could kick back, go get yourself a beverage or a cup of tea if you want to see more case inquiries. So this is sort of my marathon session to get some more folks involved. Okay, so emotional issue. So it potentially means if she does flower essence balancing every day, that could potentially have more impact and move more energy than trying to figure out which thyroid supplement to take. Autoimmune thyroid, toxic nodular goiter, kind of put that with a grain of salt, iodine deficiency, Hashimoto's. So we see all of the things, I mean, you guys, can you make this stuff up? All the things that she just reported are being shown here in the thyroid assessment. Then neck involvement. This is a big thing that I've talked about that I got from one of my colleagues, that if we're not moving that neck, if the neck is impaired, if there's been an injury to the neck, then that energy isn't flowing properly either to the brain, but also to the thyroid itself. Hyperthyroidism, you guys, we go back and forth in autoimmune conditions between often hyper and hypo. That's pretty common. Adrenal imbalance, thyroglobulin antibodies, she told us that. An interference field, we can talk about that. The TSH is supposed to be between 1 and 4. Hers was almost 14, if I got those numbers from her correctly. That's very, very high. And this is an inverse relationship. A high TSH means a low functioning thyroid. A high TSH means a low functioning thyroid. Now, there are problems with this stupid assessment of the thyroid anyway. Whether we should even be measuring TSH is a little bit dicey because it more measures pituitary function than it does measure thyroid function. And it's funny, if you go to a veterinarian and ask them to measure your dog's thyroid, they never check TSH. They only check T4, which is probably the better check. You know, more to come in our updated thyroid class. I haven't done one in a while, so we need to do that in the new year. And hopefully you guys can participate in that. Okay, so let's use thyroid solutions. Okay, UNDA number 16, that's a good one. We should talk about the UNDA numbers. Green tea, ashwagandha, turmero, that's and resveratrol. It's interesting, you guys, and this is something, Alfie, you may want to really take to heart. If you go to apexenergetics.com, or if you just look online for Apex Energetics products, this is something you may really want to take to heart, because it's funny that these two come up for you. When in naturopathic medicine, when we talk about the antibodies for the thyroid, these particular formulations are remarkably successful. They're like a liquid, fat-bound version of turmeric and resveratrol. And they're a little bit on the expensive side, but they're worth it, because in every person basically who does this consistently, they get a pretty consistent reduction of their thyroid antibodies. So it's just a really good, interesting original formulation of turmeric and resveratrol in a way where it's bound with MCT, medium chain triglyceride, making it more effective in terms of the absorption of these particular remedies. And we have seen both the turmero and resveratrol be very successful at driving down those antibodies. So interesting that it came up for you today. Those could be a golden sort of solution for you. Selenium, natrethroid, avoiding potatoes. So if you still have potatoes, you may need to remove those. The autoimmune protocol, one of the best protocols for autoimmune conditions, you may need to tweak it, but go to autoimmune paleo or autoimmune protocol. CBD oil could hold a lot of progress. Sorry, I'm going fast, you guys, but just want to get through as much information for Elfie as possible. And I don't want to do this yet because I can answer some of your comments while I go through these. I really don't want to do this progressive insights until I include the emotions and the flower essences, you guys. It's just, it sounds like it's cliche, like, oh, she always does those emotions and flower essences, but you're going to get so much better results. When I hear from people who call and say, I'm not getting results, nothing's happening, I always say to them, are you including the emotions, and are you including the flower essences, and are you doing this work in the progressive insights? To which all three of those questions, I usually get a no in response. So unless you're doing it this way, I don't find that I get as good results unless I do this. So going through these rather quickly, when you have the person there, you can have them slowly look over your shoulder. And I'm going to be showing you this year how to do a client setup where they can actually see the monitor in front of them. And so what you do is you take an HDMI cord and you connect it to a separate monitor. And then this monitor is what they can look at while you're working on them, if you want them. Or you can have them set up with a monitor and watch something else visually, like the water harmonizer. I wish the developer would do a non-ending loop of the water harmonizer so they could just watch those fractal images, you know, on loop. Okay, so let's get these in there, and then we'll get to some of your comments shortly. Wow, this one's just not cooperating. All right, so just go quickly here. Okay, so thyroid is something that's very important. Thyroid is incredibly sensitive to environmental influences. Thyroid is very, very important in so many functions of the body. Thyroid is the most susceptible to radiation. It has a huge amount of blood flow through the thyroid. Now, it's interesting, of all the things we talked about today, the lungs came up. You guys, if we had a better understanding of Chinese medicine, there's probably a very specific reason why lung is probably related to something else. But that's fascinating, and that's what you get from biofeedback. There's something going on with the lungs. Now, it's interesting that it says air purify the sleep space. Lots of people have carpeting. Lots of people, you know, dust settles in the home. We talked about this last time. You know, I'll see if I can pull up those studies that show that dust carries endocrine disruptors. If you're in a place with your pets and you don't have some type of air purification, it's definitely a drag on your health. I mean, these things are multifactorial, right? Adrenals, euphoria, air, curiosity, chestnut bud. So let's look at the chestnuts here. We do have a lot of things when you see these chestnut, chestnut, chestnut. A lot of trees. Trees are very, very powerful. That's why they're used also in chemotherapy. They have very high levels of triterpenes. Like one of the highest in Young Living are the spruce. I forget which spruce it is. Idaho spruce, maybe. All of those have very, very high energetic resonances. If you study like Ormus, you know, Ormus, the energy that causes the tree to grow up against gravity is said to be the power of Ormus. It's an incredibly powerful energy. And so there's something about the trees and the essences from the buds of the trees that are really, really powerful. So chestnut bud is trying to learn from past mistakes, trying to learn from past mistakes. Desire turmero. Turmero is that helps with the antibodies, releasing some of these emotions, which is awesome. Let's just see if there's any other flower essences. I don't see one right here. It does say still that iodine deficiency. So you may need to find a way to get maybe those small, you might want to use the synergistics to find out which one of the iodines would be the best. And maybe you need very small doses. Maybe you just need to make a remedy for yourself from the genius to water and get the iodine in that way. I mean, let's try that, because that would be the least disruptive, right? That would be the thing that causes the least amount of harm. All right, let's look at some of your comments here. A really, really great class participation, you guys. I restricted my water through harmonizing in a crystal ball, as most water structure is destroyed. I don't understand that. Fascia out of alignment causes pain. I thought it might have been in one of your panels. If Barbara could create a panel. Good one. Fascia out of alignment causes pain. That's a good one. The fascia is very, very powerful in the body and often holds the traumas. So that's why Rolfing, if you've ever been Rolf, not only can it be painful, which would make you cry, but also releases a lot of past trauma. So that's a good one. Hashimoto's is often related to Lyme, Epstein-Barr, or CMV. That's something that we've covered, Karen. Thank you for contributing that. And I have it, and I've been pretty much eliminated over the past couple of years by getting rid of parasites in diet. I also use iodine on the skin, where I control how much my body absorbs. Lugol's at 5%. I use 1 drop on my thigh, and when it is absorbed, I know I can put another drop on the skin. That is probably not the most scientific way to do this. It's not something we would do in naturopathic medicine, but I do agree with you that it is extraordinary the speed at which the body will absorb iodine through the skin. And the skin is a really good way to deliver medicine to the body in any event. Karen, I don't think you've been on the classes, but our good old Gertie, one of our long-term users, will take iodine and apply it to the breast tissue. And when she sees resonances on the Genius that show her that she was a breast cancer survivor. And so when the resonances about cancer tick up for her on her Genius, she knows that it is a sort of like forming clouds, right? When you see clouds beginning to form. So she uses the iodine applied, dropped directly on the breast as a way to clear those clouds. And then she sees the resonance on the Genius start to clear up. And Ginger says, if I have a cheese or dairy products at a party, my gluten sensitivity goes through the roof and my thyroid starts misbehaving for about a week. Yeah, cheese and dairy are both sort of related in terms of inspiring that same level of autoimmunity. What enzyme product do you recommend? It's different for different people, but I generally recommend something that you like that has serrapeptase in it. If you have a heart condition, then you could use nattokinase. I got lost is what happens to after with the libraries. I just have the ones that came with the basic, and after I added them, I don't know where to find where they go in order to use them. Karen, I think you may have gotten a complete package. I have to go check. Maybe you just got the basic program. It doesn't come with any libraries, but I feel like I sent you a bunch of libraries. Where do I buy the IQ Air from? And my parents need this as well. Okay, I got a super great buying tip for you for the IQ Air. Figure out which one you recommend. I recommend the Health Pro Plus because that is the one that has the most. It's the Health Pro Plus, and it's going to get things like mold. So I think that's the only one to have. They do have a Health Pro Compact and a Health Pro. Go to Bed Bath & Beyond, you guys. This is so funny. These things are $900. So if you want to get the compact, it's less money, but use your 20% off coupons. All you need to do is use a new email address, get a 20% off coupon, and is way more affordable. So you could spend significantly less. I got both of my $900 IQ Air for the 20% off, and it was fantastic. But you could also get you're still going to get good air purification, you guys, if you get the Pro or the Compact. So if that's what's in your budget, then just start with that. The only advantage of the Plus is that it helps with any solvents, any chemicals. So the people next door to me do tons of fires in their fireplace, and I am like the exhaust valve. I get it all in my yard and in my through my vent. It's terrible. So that's why I got that. And then Oregon is like a living mold contamination location. So I for sure wanted something that would get the mold spores. So I went for the IQ Health Pro Plus. Okay, I got lost as to what happens when you go to the libraries and add them all. I just have the ones that came. So Karen, I think it's better if we can connect. Dawn says, milk thistle helped me when my liver was in the blue. The day after I took it, it was in the green. My digestive went from red to green, and virus and bacteria was in the green as well. So Dawn, you are defining a super awesome and fantastic way to use the Genius. I can't applaud you more for doing that because that is the way to use the Genius. It's like a monitor. You've raised your level of awareness. It told you the remedy that would have the most resonance for you. You then took the remedy and then you post-tested. So you get 5 gold stars. That was brilliant. That's exactly the way to use the Genius. I also use a magnet over my thyroid each night. This has improved my Hashimoto's by feeding it electrons, which it was low in. I'm always skeptical of magnets, Karen, but good information. Thank you so much for all of your downloads on autoimmune. These are some of the things we did discuss in the autoimmunity class, so good on you. You picked up a lot of really good information. Not from my class, but from reading about Hashimoto's. Okay, which would Bach flower remedies not cover emotions sufficiently? So Mary Lee, good question, or Mary Lee and William, good question. What I find is it's important to include the emotions and the flower essences. You get sort of a exponentially elevated effect from doing both the energy of the emotions and the flower essences. That's just my style of doing it. Can you recommend the name of the inversion cushion? Yeah, just Google inversion cushion and then put in Einstein, inversion soft cushion Einstein, and you'll find it. It's they're like $300 or $400, but they're worth it. Definitely worth it, because you can get the inversion, get that energy into your pineal gland and your brain. I'm doing Rolfing now, and I'm on a 6 out of 10 series. So Barbara, good for you. Nice. Hey, Pat, Barbara is already doing Rolfing, so you guys have already connected somewhere in the ethers on that. That's great. Okay, iodine is used for fibroids, goiter, and PCOS. Thanks, Karen. Thank you so much for informing us on that. I appreciate it. And Karen says, awesome. We have mold and formaldehyde. Kelly says, awesome. Thank you. We have mold and formaldehyde issues. You know, absolutely fantastic. You know, really, really great. That will help tremendously, Kelly. Probably everybody should have an air purifier in their home, because these are some of the things that affect all of us. Just getting back to Karen on the iodine, just some little bit more of subtlety or nuance on this is it's just super, you have to be careful what iodine people are using and when they're using it. So that's the only thing for the blanket. We do have a tremendous need for iodine. Those of you who attend the class regularly know that I've recommended Michael Brownstein's book, Iodine, Why You Need It and Why You Can't Live Without It. The only concern I have is that he and other people like him have recommended sometimes up to 50 grams per day, which is an insane amount of iodine. Usually we recommend it 150 micrograms, and he's recommending it in gram dosages and then to boot at 50 grams. So you guys, you have to be careful, because if you take iodine, you have autoimmunity. You could make the autoimmunity worse because it's going to ramp up the peroxidase. I just be careful. You may want to consult with me. Grace had asked, how much is a consultation, or how much do I charge? Being a naturopathic doctor with well over a decade of experience, it's $195 for a consultation, an hour consultation. You should at least be charging $75 for a session, you guys. And up to 200, you could charge more than me. You could charge up to 300 if you wanted. It's really, you guys, if you're doing a session, what you want to ask is, what kind of environment are you creating? What other degrees do you have? If you create a beautiful spa-like environment where people come in and they feel nourished and nurtured by the session, you could charge $500 for a session. It's all about the delivery of the service. It isn't just the technology. We can't just turn on our iPads and poke a couple of buttons and tell them they're better and to go on their way. It's how you greet them. It's how you welcome them. It's how you make them feel within the session. You can make the session itself feel like a spa treatment, depending on how you put them in an ottoman with their feet up and put maybe wonderful headphones. You could even put headphones on them with different music, like Vivaldi or, you know, some of the Baroque music. Let them listen to that the whole time. You can play the frequencies for them either simultaneously, or you could have them playing in the room. As long as they're hearing them at even the most tiny audible level, they're getting the benefits of them. So Kelly says, too much iodine gave my sister severe Graves' disease. So, I mean, that's why you want to be careful. Although I do agree, taking it on the skin, that can be a great way. But, you know, you have to just be cautious, because even taking it in the skin, it does get delivered to the body. So whatever on the skin is going to end up going in the bloodstream. But I do agree that the skin is a really nice delivery system, because it bypasses the liver. And sometimes people are so gut impaired and liver impaired that they don't absorb supplements very, very well. Okay, we've actually been going 11 minutes there for, so we need to check in with Elfie and see how she's doing. So I think after this, we're going to wrap it up, you guys. If you haven't been able to have your case done, like I know, Dale, you've been waiting, we can definitely do this for you next week, or request a personal demonstration with me. Dale will be more than happy to do that, and we can go through the case for your friend. So, let me do the analysis already. So let's see what's happening here. Oh, it's taking a while. Okay, so you guys, lots and lots of classes coming up. It definitely, I'm going to be communicating by email a lot more consistently this year. So I'm sure you're going to be seeing emails from me with articles and upcoming classes. I'm just so grateful that you're part of our community. This is interesting. We have significantly less gray, but we're still working on quite a bit. Elfie, I'll do some more balancing for you after we're done with the class. Let's just look at the before and after. So you guys, lots and lots of really good stuff coming up. Biofeedback is going to hold, amazing miracles for people, and you're part of bringing those miracles to other people. So give yourself a big pat on the back and lots of credit for being the wonderful visionary that you are. Okay, so before and after. Before and after, we see significantly less gray. We're starting to bring in a lot of green energy. So there's a lot that's going on here. This really will continue to improve as we continue to balance Elfie. So I think good session. I think one thing that makes the session really, even better is because I do the drill down usually. So we would balance for 3 minutes and then drill down the information again. Let's go back and get some feedback from Elfie. Elfie, are you there?
Yes, I am.
So go ahead
it's
and, yeah.
interesting. When the lungs showed up, I used to get a lot of wheezing and allergies, like asthma type, but I haven't had it for about a year now. And I know the air purifier probably is a good thing. And then, yeah, the systemic enzymes, someone told me I should take those a while back. Which ones did you recommend? It was William Wong or?
Not his enzymes. Email me for a specific recommendation for some enzymes and I can recommend to you. But I was just giving a general recommendation of serapeptase. But email me, and there's a company that I use that I think could be beneficial for you. I don't want to make a blanket recommendation, you guys, but just, yeah, Wobenzyme is one that he does. And it's still a good one, but I think they've added some, he doesn't own the company anymore, so I think they've added some binders and so forth. So, but anything that you can find that's good quality with serapeptase. So if you have a line that you like, email me and I can recommend a specific one that I think might be helpful for you.
Okay, and I know I never really did the flower essences, so I will do that and add it with the emotions, I think.
Yes, that will be magnificently powerful.
Okay.
Anything else that came up? I think the lungs probably indicates there's something deeper going on in the lungs.
Right. I've had that for several years. Especially, I used to live in Kentucky, and up there, every winter I would have problems with that. But,
okay.
So
yeah, good.
Okay. And so definitely an air purifier would.
Well, yeah, I
help.
mean, test yourself and we can talk more, but these are just things that came up today. So, keep testing yourself, keep looking at some of these areas. Didn't you get the full package with me? So you have all of these custom libraries, right?
I think I only have the part 1, so I'll have to look into part 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and definitely part 1 is really good because it has the thyroid and
Yeah.
Hashimoto's and stuff like that. So continue to use those. I think those would be really good for you. The part 2 will have respiratory. So when you're ready to add those, that'll be good to add in for yourself as well.
Okay, great. But I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, Elfie, it's my pleasure. And thanks for being part of our community. I appreciate your participation.
Okay, great.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Okay, thanks to everyone for your wonderful participation. I'll just get some final comments and then we'll wrap up. All right, so great session, amazing. Kelly, you're so awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so just okay, Dale, you can just email me for a compatible device. Just send an email to me and I can help you with a compatible device and I'll definitely contact you, absolutely. All right, I just don't want to recommend a particular enzyme right now, but Karen, thank you for your awesome participation today. It's been excellent. I really hope you'll come to more sessions. It's been really fun to have you on. And Kelly, as always, just everybody, Mary Lee, all you guys had great ideas and participation. I really, really do appreciate it. So Jackie, it's good to have you. And Jackie, if you're still interested in getting your system, let me know. Get in touch with me today and I can offer you an additional bonus. You guys, if you have referrals, please refer to my newsletter that will be coming out this week, hopefully today, if not tomorrow morning. And in the newsletter, I'll have the affiliate link. I really do thank you for your affiliate referrals because they help me to do this free class. They help me to do my research. They really help to keep things flowing. Just buying through Ryan's website, that is okay if you tell him that you want me to get the referral credit, but it's way better if they purchase through me. It's just a clear delivery. I can make sure that I, contact them personally, et cetera. You guys who've been with me a long time know that. Well, now we're getting like almost like the sunshine's coming out for Elfie, so we're getting some nice results. I guess in sort of summing up, you guys, do not doubt the power biofeedback. There's a lot happening with these essences. There's a lot happening, with the frequencies of the flower essences and the frequencies themselves. So it's not out of the question for the frequencies alone to make a change, although I always like to couple it with lifestyle because it's just more reasonable. A person is a whole person with a path, and often an illness is an illness is a divergence from our natural state, but it's a way that spirit is asking for corrective information. Like, not that people are doing anything wrong, but corrective information. How do I get back to that? How do I return to my natural state? So, and these are often answers of something that's diverged emotionally, something that's diverged in our understanding, but something that's diverged in our understanding of how to take care of ourselves. So these are multifactorial pieces of information. In other words, we don't just want to have a person who goes and eats fast food every day and say that these frequencies will change them. Although that's possible too, because the frequencies may give them that inspiration or be that catalyst where they actually start to take better care of themselves. So biofeedback is miraculous. It can have miraculous, results. And we're going to continue to try to document that through our Facebook Lives, through our demonstrations, through interviewing you guys in the community. So thank you once again for being a part of this. Dale, I'll definitely be in touch. Everybody have a wonderful, prosperous, amazing new year. And I'm sending you much love and abundant blessings for that new year. Take care and be well, everybody. Bye-bye for now.